This next section is all about user experience, section number 4. And I mentioned earlier the difference between user experience and what we'll talk about next, which is usability. For me, the definition of user experience is how the user feels when they're using and engaging with your website. So all the things that we can do to evoke their emotions, because we know that people don't necessarily buy on logic and logic alone. People make buying decisions through the shift in emotion first, and they'll back it up with logic later. So we've got to shift them emotionally before they get to the booking pages and make a decision about price, which is the logical side of the brain. So emotionally get them to fall in love, then they'll justify the price later if the emotions are high enough and they match the pricing that you're offering. So user experience, let's unpack this a little bit. The first one is the imagery and the look and the feel of the website. Images are so important on your website. You have to get high quality images. Look, in most cases, a good modern smartphone will take a decent enough image. You can actually do that. Me personally, I like to get a professional photographer in because they just know how to take a good photo. You can certainly get away with using your smartphone, but I like to get those pros in. They help you get the images the right size. We've got a hack for this later about a photo shortcutting, photo hacking later on. It's got some tips in there about how to do that. But if you get the pros in, they'll actually get it all in the right sizings and res and that sort of thing. But most importantly, position the shot appropriately. Little tip on your photos is, when you're taking a shot, clean the shot up. Have a look at it and see, are there any cords hanging down for appliances? Can they be unplugged and tucked behind? Does that little brochure or book or whatever need to be there? Can you just really simplify the shot and just take good quality photos? So the idea for me is you really should be having beautiful, full image, full format, right across the web page images as your main when you hit the website to really make a good first impression. You also probably should be including people in your photos. It's not always easy to get actors, so to speak, but by putting people in your photos, it becomes more real and people start to imagine themselves there more than just an empty shot. And beyond photos, we really encourage you to use or make use of icons. So if you're going to talk about hot showers or comfy beds, there's a plethora of icons that you can actually get these days that actually represent that. If you've got good Wi-Fi, get a Wi-Fi icon. So people can actually quickly make their mind up about what's there without necessarily having to read words. So photos and imagery and visuals are really, really important. Anyone know what the top 3 viewed images on a hotel website are? I can tell you right now. The first one is the guest rooms or bedding, obviously, and that seems to make sense. So keep that in mind when what photos am I going to choose to put up. These are the most viewed images. Guest rooms, followed by restaurant, followed by recreation activities. So what's going to, if that's what people are clicking on, that's obviously what draws their attention, and therefore, they're emotionally drawn to it. So be mindful of that when you're selecting what photos to put and where. The second area within user experience that I want to talk about, and the work you've done in the earlier modules has led to this, is succinct and uniform messaging. So it's about always getting that right, and it's important to understand. I've got a couple of, again, I like a good statistic, a couple of statistics here to help us understand the importance of having clear, succinct messaging. We know they're only on the website for a minute, but here's some facts to back it up. On a typical web page of just 100 words, which isn't much, people typically only read 49%. It's only going to read half of it, even if it's only 100 words. On a page with 600 words, which is probably a short blog article, only 28% is consumed. And if you think about your own experience, when you're going into web pages, how much do you actually read? So you have to get to the point quickly. You have to get to the value proposition and prioritise that so you can actually get your key points of difference across rather than reading a whole lot of fluff and missing the main point. And the third area here within user experience, something that you can take control of here is imagery, messaging, but making use of video. Often it's perceived as perhaps expensive or hard to produce or whatever, but honestly, if you think again about yourself or your family members, other people you know, what's most engaging in all your news feeds on social media? It's video. And you need to have video on your website, A, because it's engaging, B, because in Google's eyes, it's a very positive, relevant thing that people will want to see. So there's a dual benefit there. It's actually good for the people, and Google like video as well, so it pushes you up in the rankings again. But it helps tell the story. I think this is the most important part. Words tell the story a little bit, pictures so much more. Video pulls it all together like that and actually helps to engage, evoke some emotion. If you're putting words and music and different sound effects in there, it can actually immerse people into the experience you're giving a hint of at your hotel. So whether it's a virtual tour of your website, a time-lapse video giving people a walkthrough of different areas, there's a number of things you can do, a welcome video, introducing to the staff perhaps. There's lots of things you can do with video, but it helps more quickly, more easily, more succinctly tell the story of your hotel. So there's a few things you can do around user experience. Read the rest of the notes that are in the workbooks, but that's the idea there, to evoke some emotion so they can then back up their emotional decision with the logic of the pricing and availability that you put out there once they get to that section of the website. And then we'll move on to the next module, which is all around usability.